Thank you everyone for joining me today for this week's episode of our Business Builder Workshop. If you haven't checked out the past ones, you want to do so. We went from the very beginning of just thinking about, do I have a job or do I own a business, all the way to where we are in the Great Awakening now, where we're going to start talking about serious business. But if you haven't checked out those past episodes, make sure to do so. I want you to go down there, push that subscribe button. Make sure you put up your notifications so you know about the new ones. And also go over to thoughtcompany.com and sign up, and you'll get the newsletter, which is going to give you more information as well as keep you updated on when the next class is. We do them weekly. It's through the Plymouth Area Chamber of Commerce and myself, Shawn Patrick Moloney. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm the owner of Momentum Realty over in Hanover, Massachusetts, servicing Massachusetts and Rhode Island, as well as Thoth Company, a consulting business that helps businesses with startups, turnarounds, profitability studies, all sorts of different ways to make your business more basically what you would like and desire for the year 2021. So without further ado, let's get started. So first off, we're going to talk today about seasonality in businesses. Now, no matter what business you're in, there's a certain level of seasonality to it. So figuring out your seasons is a very important part of the strategy of your business. All businesses have their ups and downs time of the year, and knowing what yours are is going to change it. So track your business. One of the first things you want to learn is that programs such as QuickBooks, Peachtree, any of those accounting softwares are going to massively help you, because one of the first things you don't understand as an entrepreneur is the idea that everything happens for a reason and things are very predictable. At first, when you first start out, you have no idea. You think, okay, it's at random this month versus that month. But the longer that you've put your information into an accounting software, the more you start to see your cycles. You see your cycles of ups and downs and what's going on. Knowing your ups and downs is going to help you with this whole strategy I'm going to teach you today. So identifying, and it may not be just one of these summer, fall, spring, winter. It may be the weeks of July or whatever. It might be specific times for you, but every business is going to have its downtimes. It's figuring out what to do with it that we're going to talk about today. Downtime needs to become uptime in your business. There's always something that needs your attention. So oftentimes you walk into a business, whether it be a ski place in the summertime to a holiday place during the middle of the summer. We have all different businesses that don't get visited much. Ice cream in the winter, so on and so forth, right? And whenever you go to those types of places and you see those employees or you see the owners, they're not doing anything during that downtime, right? If you go over to Blue Hills right here in Massachusetts, you literally can witness pieces of equipment that cost tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, sitting on the side of a ski slope with no one paying attention, all the while getting their windows broken and everything. For some reason, that company thinks it's cheaper to allow everything to go to crap versus paying one person maybe a salary of 60, 70, maybe 80 grand a year to consistently maintain the place, manage the place, and keep it up. So instead, they spend at the beginning of every year a whole bunch of obsolescence money to get back going. The thing is, if you actually looked at the measure, if they were paying attention to their books, you would see that they're losing more than they're gaining. And they're also losing pride of business. When you're on your downtime, it's okay to shut down. My mother owns an ice cream place. We shut it down during the wintertime, it's closed. But before we shut that business down, what do? We do about a month worth of renovations to the building. And then we get the water shut off and everything. And then the springtime, we open it between 2 and 4 weeks ahead of time, depending on what projects we have planned, and we work then. But during that time where the business is physically closed, what do you work on? So let's talk about a little bit further about all that stuff. So some things you can do. Study your competitors, right? We have time. So we're not working. We, as an ice cream shop, we're not there, so we can look at and think about what happened last year. Where is everybody's prices? What were they doing differently than us? Again, like I said, we're closed on October 31st, but we usually don't winterize the building until late November. Clean your store, restock. We have a lot of paper goods in that industry. It may be a good time to shop, right? It may be a good time to look and say, how do I get these products cheaper than I'm already getting them? How do I spend a day on the internet just filing through where I can buy straws through so I can figure out a way to save money on straws? These are the things that make your business profitable, but also make your time best served versus just thinking, I get to go and I'm going to be in Florida all day. And when I come back, my business will be fine. Build your marketing. It's a great time to look at your marketing campaigns and say, what's working? What isn't working? How could I make it work more? What could I do in order to bring the success that I want for this upcoming year? Build systems. What better time of the year than to take the winter time or the off season, whatever your business is, and sit back and say, okay, these are the processes that we do every day. I'm going to document them all. I'm going to put them together so that when my employees show up in the springtime, they show up to organized chaos versus just pure raw chaos. Because highly seasonal businesses, yes, they're chaotic. Whether you're on a camp where you have camp counselors that you're training 2 weeks before the time that they start, to a ski place where you don't have any instructors and suddenly in the winter you have 1,000 people working for the mountain. These are places that are highly, 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 like, basically dynamic businesses, right? So the more we put systems in place, the easier it is to hire new help, right? So we can, during the off season, spend time hiring the new help so that when springtime comes or when wintertime comes or whatever season you're off, you're not just sitting there like, hey, now we have to hire people. Why would you waste that time and energy during the height of the beginning of the season? Because remember, seasonality in all businesses exists, but the highly seasonal business, you only have a few weeks to make your money, maybe a month. Some businesses, basically a day. You have that one day where that's the big thing. You need to pay attention to that, build systems and hire help so it's all ready, and you can never sit back. So when you do, you're going to find that when you come back to business, the other people in that industry are going to have worked the whole time. So there you are sitting back all the while. They're like, this is great. I could never have caught up with that person if they didn't sit back. But considering they only work 6 months a year and I work 12, I might be 2 years behind them. But give me 2 or 3 years for maybe at tops, I'll catch up with them because I'm working 1.5 or 2 times as much as they're working. So there's some big risks to seasonality, ups and downs of business, right? This is something you need to know. You need to predict. You need to be honest with yourself. You have to be real because sometimes people have a huge month. They may have a lot of sales that month or whatever, and suddenly they're rich. Then the next month comes, which they knew was going to happen, and they're suddenly poor. And then 2 months from then, they're suddenly rich, and then they're suddenly poor. So you need to learn to ride the ups and downs of business in the correct manner and not just be there going, that's random. I can't believe my business is up and down, or this one big sale, I can't believe this isn't perpetuating, right? I own a real estate company. Say we did a 5 or 10 or $20 million sale, right? We get commissions, so we get a percentage. So if I got a $20 million sale, that pays me basically a huge amount of money. And what do I do with it? So if I just decide that I'm just going to ride with it and I'm going to be like, oh, cool, I get a $500,000 check or whatever I get there, and I just spend it, I'm going to be in trouble because the ups and downs of business is coming. And the ups and downs don't just come financially, but they come in inventory, they come in staffing, they come in all things. But staffing issues, that's a huge one in seasonality, right? So a lot of seasonal businesses, like I said, they start hiring the moment they need the employee versus hiring ahead of time. In your financial budgets and plans as a seasonal business, you should always plan on the staff coming in early and doing dry runs, seeing that everyone understands their job, not being afraid to make you cook, get in the kitchen and cook certain meals, knowing that the holiday season is coming and the busy season is coming, making sure the recipes are on par, making sure that the people in the front service are understanding how to properly lead a guest to the table. We all have staffing issues, and when high time comes, it's time to hire. So you see it in the mall, you go in the mall and they say, right before Christmas, you see all the places, they say, hire in seasonal help. Now, all the while, the seasonal help doesn't mean anything offensive by it, and they're not trying to mess anything up. But you got to remember, you're asking a lot of a human being to join a company for a month or two and to care. They don't care. It's a month or 2 month gig. It's a gig job. It's not the same. So you need to make sure when you're onboarding these seasonal help people, they feel like they're part of something bigger than just that 1 week or the fact that you're just trying to make more money off of them. So we talked before about cash flow, ups and downs of the business. So paying attention to your cash flow is huge. We live in a cash flow economy. It doesn't matter whether you're looking at a personal financial statement or a business financial statement. We live in a very heavy cash flow driven economy. So having things like COVID or any of these other things happen, for some people, seasonal businesses that lost a whole season, they lost a year. So paying attention to cash flow is crucial. And guys, I get it. If you're in one of those businesses, I feel terrible for you. I wish I was the government and I could say, hey, you can reopen, because you didn't go out of business. You were put out of business. And I always want to clarify that, because I don't want people to get down on the idea of entrepreneurship during a time like this, because we were wrongfully punished for things. And you can say whatever you want to say, but if you can't go to a local store that might have 2 or 3 people in it, but you can go to a Walmart, I think something's a little bit weird there. But anyways, pay attention to your cash flow. Underutilized equipment. This is a huge one for seasonal businesses, right? Whether it be a snowplow company or it be a place that rents inflatable rafts next to a beach. We all have this underutilized equipment that we could actually rent. Renting and leasing is a great form of a full tax write-off versus owning the equipment and depreciating it. Owning the equipment and depreciating is great, but sometimes when you own certain pieces of equipment and you only use them during certain times of the year, say for instance, cranberry farmers, they have pump houses that pump the water from one to the other. They have to ask themselves the question in the modern day economy, not back in the day because they could do it. They did it all basically illegally and they did it quickly. Now that we have all the regulations and rules we do, the government made so that everything is perfect and clean, the environment's safe, people are safe, no one dies, nothing gets hurt, all that, things are way too expensive. So a lot of businesses need to be looking at this new, I just said gig economy, where maybe you rent a pump for a month and a half when you pump your bogs and it's a tow behind one and you move it there versus running a pump house. You own all your pipe, but you just put it in the spot during that time. This is the new economy. Whether you're looking at WeWork or you're looking at Uber, we've changed the way we momentarily buy things. I mean, we honestly have a point now where Freedom Boat Club, you can rent a portional share of a boat, Toro. You can rent somebody else's car that they own. There are so many of these things out there. So looking at your equipment line and saying, what do I actually need to keep and what don't I need to keep? Because it costs a lot when a gas engine goes down. We have to go to a mechanic. We have to do all these things. So underutilized equipment, make sure you either utilize it, rent it to other people, get it working, whatever it is, or sell it. Set up some free cash flow right there. Get some cash out of it, put it in, but make sure you plan in your budget for the rental. So budgeting is big. Budgeting is a must, especially in the seasonal business that's highly seasonal, such as renting kayaks by a beach or any of these other type of one-off businesses that hit seafood near Cape Cod beach place. We have so many of these seasonal businesses. Budgeting is crucial because again, that cash flow and the staffing issues and all that comes down to having enough money to do what you're going to do. All the while, sometimes you do have to take losses in business to make gains in the future. You want to pay attention to that budget because you can only take so many losses before you have a complete loss. Rapid change. In seasonality, you have to be ready to change. What's popular this year may not be popular next year. What's going on in the past may not present what's going to happen in the future. Holidays may be canceled. Certain things may be changed. The world is changing at a faster pace than ever. So in seasonal businesses, you have to accept and be willing to rapidly change because you have such a small window to make that money in. And like I said, it doesn't matter. I mean, honestly, I'm in real estate, our season, right? We're in pretty much the slowest season, just starting to wake up for the spring because of the fact that people don't like to sell houses during the winter. They believe in the spring marketplace. So then we launch into the spring marketplace. So we're rapidly changing at all points in times, but this year we have all sorts of new dynamics, right? We have COVID, we have all these other things. So our seasonality has changed a bit, right? And this has happened in the past year or two. So again, we always could rely on certain things happening and then something like this comes along and boom, another change. There is a rapid change always happening and just be ready for it. Make your efforts count in the off season. Learn to stockpile. Okay, this is for all you businesses that have inventory. If you have inventory and you're not paying attention to the buy cycle, you are losing money. What do I mean by this? Well, Take, for instance, our ice cream business. Candy, right? Candy goes on sale at certain times of the year, right after certain holidays, right? So we have right after Halloween, right after Christmas, right after Easter. Now, candy, mind you, most of the time has somewhere between a 2 and 5 year expiration date. So they put it on sale for 50 to 75% off during that time. For an ice cream business, we use tons of candy. We certainly go and buy holiday on sale candy when they put it on sale, as much as the store possibly has, and stockpile it. Why do we do this? Because even if, say, just for instance, we sold 200 bags of candy and we saved $5 a bag, you do the math, that's a lot of money, right? It's $1,000 in saving. How often do you put money in the stock market and say, I got a 5x return on my money this year right away? Not often, right? So when we learn to stockpile when seasons are off for everybody else, so this is part of the budgeting thing, right? Plan your money ahead. Instead of selling the inventory as you get it, learn to save up so you can buy the inventory ahead of time, so you can buy it when the prices are right. You can negotiate a deal because you have the cash. Also build compensation plans to plan for it. So if you're going to pay someone $50 an hour during on-season and you're going to fire them during off-season, you might want to think about a way of balancing it out and maybe paying them 30 or 35 an hour year-round to get the person there year-round. Like I said, ski mountain, broken windows, all sorts of problems, the grass and trees growing up in the middle of the field, needing to spend all this money. Same person who did all the other work could have stayed year-round, but you tried to make your business seasonal. The clients are seasonal, not the business. The business is year-round and forever if you want it to last. If you make your business seasonal, it will die with the seasons and eventually it will die. So make sure you plan for that. So I just said, learn to stockpile, buy when prices are profitable. This is huge. I put it in twice for intentional reason of just really compounding the message of, if you buy, say for instance, snow stakes. I used to plow snow, right? You could buy those things in the summertime for about anywhere from 20 to about 80 cents a unit. In season, they typically charge between $1 and $2 a unit. What's the difference? Well, you do the math. Having hundreds of places to plow that need dozens, if not hundreds of those items, so we're talking thousands of those items times 2 or 3, means at minimum 2 or 3,000 in savings, right? So pay attention to that. Make your marketing efforts count, right? So when you're marketing, a lot of seasonal businesses, they'll slam it out with some huge blow off right at the beginning of the season. Unbelievable. They'll buy everything, postcards, banners, billboards, signs, websites, all these different things. And they'll just do a huge blow off. Love it. Agree with it as far as getting the knowledge out, but make your marketing not seasonal. Remind people all year long why they should be excited to end up back at your business when the time is then. Because remember, part of seasonality is in every business, but one thing you can do is learn to kind of kill down, or whatever you want to call it, that seasonality. Learn to bring customers in during off times and stuff. Learn to sell bad inventory during off time for discounts. Learn to have big sales when people don't exist, but make your marketing efforts work and count. And that's, like I said, learn marketing. Learn market trends. That's what we're paying attention to, right? What's going on in the marketplace and when, and how do I win, right? So if I was a small business and I'm in a mall and it's coming on Christmas time, I could be like everybody else and have the Christmas sale and everything, of course. But I also could know that during certain times, the mall, it has high traffic, but not many people interested in my product. Why not have a sale during a time where people don't come in versus a time where they do come in? Not saying we can't do both, but paying attention to what works and what matters. And one of the great things now is we have things like Google Analytics and all these that really kind of break it down for us on what they're actually creating. So learning the marketing trends and market trends are a lot easier than they've ever been. So I want you to ask yourself, is my business seasonal? I want you to really think about that and take a moment just to say, is my business seasonal? If you said no, I want you to look at your books. I want you to check out what you've been doing over the past few years and see if the numbers don't agree with what I'm saying here. All businesses have season. Don't look at them as a weakness, but look at them as time to reevaluate. Knowing your seasons can save you money if you plan them correctly in your budget. So, like I said, you can say to yourself, my business is not seasonal, but that wouldn't be truthful. Every business has a season to it. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Paying attention to it's going to help you out big time. This is one of the first real business lessons that we've taught since the beginning of this workshop. I really hope this one sticks with you guys. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to let me know. I'm here. I'm a business consultant. I'd love to get involved with your business if you need help making it work or you don't understand any of these concepts. As you can see, we're in Module 3, The Great Awakening, and we're done with the second episode. So we're rapidly actually moving our way along to more business related and exact business strategy type stuff. I can tell you guys though, if you're listening, you're watching, and you haven't implemented any of it, the key is not to be here, but it's to do what it is I'm saying, to put these things in place, and to pay attention to your business. Here's where you can follow me if you're looking for my personal stuff, my real estate company, or my consulting company. I have 2 podcasts that I run. One, Real Facts on Real Estate. We help educate real estate professionals, help take them to the next level, really talk about all sorts of core concepts, everything from buying and selling houses to real estate contracts and how to best work in the industry. And then homeownership, we built that for homeowners, buyers, and sellers alike so they could learn more about the home buying process, selling process, and how to own a house in a more professional manner so that when you go to sell your house in the future, it's worth more than you paid for it and you took good care of it. Last but not least, always feel free to reach out to me. Here's where you can find my websites and everything, my emails on each and every one of them. Make sure to subscribe. Put the comments down in the comments bar if you have any questions or any concerns. Make sure to share this with somebody. I did this free business builder workshop, and the idea of that COVID-19 was really hurting a lot of small businesses across America. All these fundamentals are not just here in Massachusetts. These are fundamental business concepts. If you watch this whole entire business builder series, put it to action, you can guarantee you're going to find more success in your 2021 season. Thank you so much for watching today, and I look forward to talking to you next week.